Oh my god. It's gamer time, bros. Oh wait, actually I forgot what the wait, I forgot the music. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
It is gamer time.
This is the 8.8 bonus patch notes live in less than a week. I was really wondering when this was going to be announced because it seemed like it was a little late. I don't know if it actually was, like, factually speaking. But yeah, we can just hop right into it. So pretty cool Anubis skin, awesome Tsukiyomi skin. I mean, that's even better than what I could have imagined for this. Diana skin kind of lame. Wukong skin is pretty cool. Just depends on how good it looks while you're actually playing it. So Fighter's Mask is our first piece of balance here. And once again, we see it's getting nerfed even harder. Down to 30 power now. But still, doing some maths, I still think this is going to be the best option going to Soul Lane. If you're not a Guardian, if you're a Warrior, I think this is still a must-buy. But then, of course, it's partner in crime here. Oh, actually, this is Sundering, not Warriors. Duh, I should have known by the numbers. But yeah, so Warriors X with this, I think will still be goated. But the end game of that is getting a little bit nerfed here. The Sundering Axe upgrade from Warrior's Axe is decreasing the base bonus damage from the item's passive from 5% to 3% of the target's current health. So it's actually pretty significant, especially like towards the middle of the fight or towards the end of the fight. This item's going to be doing a pretty decent amount less damage now, a whole whopping 2%. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but once you put mitigations into play, it's actually pretty significant. So I do like that change. Because I hate Warriors right now. I actually used to really enjoy them, but I hate how they play right now, and the Warriors that are good I think are pretty boring. But anyways, so Soul Gem is getting decreased on the heal, which is pretty helpful. Took a pretty significant damage bop as well. So decrease the heal from 40% to 30%. Magical power scaling. That's pretty good. Of course, helps it out. Be less crazy, earlier and earlier on into the game. But it still gives, I think, too much because it gives you a heal, it gives you CDR, it gives you life steal, and a little bit of health and a little bit of power, all for 2,300. So I think actually instead, they straight up could have kept this the same, but then make it like 2,500, 2,600, something like that, because it really is worth that much. And since they've already taken away some of the damage. I think just a price increase would have made a lot more sense because it's still 2,300. It's still going to be really solid. Iqval getting a pretty decent nerf here, decreasing the power increase from this item's passive, minus 5 for every stack, so 15 less power. So it was what's it 30? Wait, how do brain work? Right, yeah. So, okay, it puts you to 75 power before, and then now it's going to be bringing you to only 60 power, which is a lot less significant, but still pretty good. I would say the bow build is still the GOAT right now with this change, but there is another change right below it that I think is going to kill off the bow build for a decent amount of hunters. But the hunters that really benefit from the bow build are still going to go that build. But I think you're going to see the bow build teeter off for a lot of other characters. Odysseus' bow, the attack speed from this has been reduced by a whopping 10%. So if you're barely getting into that Silver Branch bow territory, where Silver Branch bow is actually getting the passive going, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to get there now, and it's going to be less impactful. Going over that, going over capped. If your character doesn't have a built-in stim or anything, or with like with Iqval, going to be dealing less damage with this build as well. I think that's a really good change. I think the bow build was really stupid. Also really don't like how it feels on most characters. And then some characters could just go above and beyond with it, and it was just hilariously broken on them. I wasn't a big fan of that. And the Iqval power spike I think is way too high, and I hate the way the attack speed slow works on that item. It makes me feel like I can't auto attack cancel on any of the characters I play. And if you hit the first auto in a hunter battle or a hunter 1v1, whatever, when you're trading autos, whoever hits the first auto wins because you get the Iqval passive. Not a big fan of that item. But yeah, pretty significant nerfs to both of them. This doesn't kill the bow build, I think, but makes it a lot less good for, you know, like it's not something every hunter feels the need to go now. So I totally spoiled the next item. What was I thinking? Scrolling down. But yeah, let's just get to it. Void Shield, decrease physical protections from 60 to 45, no price change or anything. This hurts pretty badly for the Void Shield abusers out there, but one of them is named Gilgamesh, so I don't care. It was actually quite funny. They nerfed Ansile and Shifter Shield, and then it's like that scene at the end of The Wire Season 1, where Idris Elba's character just stares into the camera, like the camera starts slowly zooming in on him, and he stares into the camera. That's what Void Shield was doing when Ansile and Shifters got nerfed. Just like, well, you didn't get me, dude. But now they did. So 15, that's pretty significant, especially considering it's 2,600 for this item. So maybe a skip on this one, or maybe it's just it's still going to be the best option until next patch, next proper patch, 8.9. So Stonecutting is actually getting another nerf, and you know we're seeing the not growth. What's the word? The rise of these really annoying, like almost full move speed builds, like what a new player would do, because it's like, oh, move speed's so good, I'm just gonna keep on buying move speed items. But now it's actually becoming meta. Really irritating to try and play against, especially against characters like Osiris or Long. Gilgamesh, hate him. So they're decreasing the physical protection buff from the item's passive from 7 to 5, so another nerf, half of what it was before. From 21 to 15 total. Ouch. The physical protection shred debuff is not changing, staying at 7 per stack, so you don't get as many protections back. But you still decrease their protections, which I think is a fair trade-off. They're clearly not trying to kill this item, but you know, it just leads to such... It's like Iqval, where it just leads to such unfair trades sometimes. It's just like, well, okay, bro, I couldn't really do anything there. Thank you. Stonecutting, especially on like a Mercury, you know, around a mid-game, once a Mercury starts getting going, Stonecutting can really make you feel like, oh my god, I couldn't do anything there. He just got those Stonecutting stacks on me, and I couldn't shred through his newfound protections from when he jumped on me. So... This is a helpful change. I think it's still going to be pretty good though. Winged Blade, decrease the health from 250 to 200. Another. I feel like they're not trying to kill the item, but they're definitely trying to take down this move speed build-up peg. Thank goodness. Charybdis or Charybdis. I don't know if it's Charib or Carib. I don't know. I have to ask. I don't know. Aiden or Def or someone like that in my friends group. Fixed an issue where she was not getting the intended move speed from her Whirlpool form ability. Definitely noticed that one when I played her. Oh my god, that was annoying. And then more bug fixes are planned for the main patch release. Really not a big fan of this, guys. I think the bug on her one, which supposedly is getting fixed next patch, I think, if I remember correctly, that can lose you games, straight up. If you're in a late game team fight and your one bug's out, that can lose you the fight right there. So I think the character really should have been disabled at some point, and that patched absolutely immediately, because that is almost unacceptable how bad that is. I mean, my friends and I all agreed, let's just not touch that character, because that can lose you the game right there. And it's happened to enemy Charybdises before, and then we just jump on her, because she's like, oh, I gotta cancel the ability and run away, and then she's dead. And then they lose the fight, and it's just stupid. Well, they don't lose the fight because they always have, like, Nox, Gilgamesh, or Long against me. Especially when I pick Yorm, it's Ganesh, Erlong, Gilga, Nox when I pick Yorm. Don't play with me, by the way. I'm cursed. Gilgamesh, by the way, is getting nerfs. Yay! You could remove him at any time, Hi-Res. It's okay. Decrease the wind wall slow. Do you guys know that it was at 70%? I knew it was high. I didn't know it was 70%. No, it's just 50% at all ranks. Would prefer a 0%. That would go over quite well. But then additionally, it's getting a cooldown increase from 90 to 110 seconds. Honestly, I believe that's fair. This single ability is absolutely bonkers. It's one of the best ults in the game by a country mile. And its team fight ability, especially in the jungle, is unreal. It really is absolutely crazy. I can't believe people thought this ult wasn't good when he first came out. I think it's an absolutely ridiculous ability, and they're finally treating it as such, right? Like, this should be a... what But it is already once per fight at 90 seconds, right? But there should be a longer period of time between when he can ult, man. It was just crazy. Like, every gank included a Gilgamesh ult, and it's just did not feel fair at all. Way too good for that. For a 90-second cooldown. So dropkick getting another damage nerf via physical power scaling. Pretty significant chunk once again. 20% total decrease. Good. This ability does way too much damage, and especially this stun duration afterwards, and the ease with which you can create stuns out of thin air, basically by like kicking minions into people, flicking it at the last second. We saw Captain Twig go 12-0 with this character, and a lot of the times you could see he was just yanking his mouse like he was doing like he went from doing wrist aiming to doing just arm aiming. Just his entire body was flinging across the desk so he could flick the dropkick to get a guaranteed stun, because it just sets up everything for Gilgamesh. You get an one auto, and then just start running at them. And then you just chase immediately with leap and ult, and there's nothing you can do. And it all starts from this dropkick that a lot of the time feels unavoidable, even though it is technically avoidable. I've dodged a few Gilgamesh dropkicks in my day, but I think that's just because they were bad. It's honestly hard to miss. So really not a big fan of this ability. Maybe just, it's, I think, a stun decrease. And of course, the damage needed to be dropped as well, because it alone does like 400 damage or something, even with just like a hybrid build. Kind of silly. And again, like I said, it guarantees all that damage. But also maybe like a stun decrease, or maybe, no, a root would be stupid. Maybe a root cripple on the wall or something, instead of a full-on stun, so you can at least respond a little bit. I don't know. Something like that, just so it's not, just so whatever Gilgamesh wants to do next isn't just guaranteed, because it feels like if he stuns you, full combo guaranteed. Yeah, you can say that about Susano pull too, right? But that's much more predictable, much more avoidable. Is it the same song again? No, whoops. But yeah. What do you guys think about Gilgamesh dropkick? I think it's a really polarizing ability. But anyways, Heroes Advances 3, decrease the vision range that allies become buffed within 150 to 110 range. So that's when they get the move speed buff, right? Is that what it's referring to? I guess that makes sense. So they get the move speed buff for less time, and it's less easy to follow up on, I guess. That makes sense. Yeah, the move speed also is a little silly. Again, because Gilgamesh's ultimate, right, slows them all, and then you get the move speed boost to catch up to Gilgamesh and the people who's ulting. So, okay. So Morgan Le Fay actually gets more nerfs, which is surprising. Well, just the fact that they're nerfing her this much. Again, right, I think she is in an alright spot. She is very good, but I don't think she's just catastrophically broken like she was when she first dropped. They are touching the one thing that I think was still a problem with the character, and I will get to it when I get to it. So increase the cooldown from 12 to 13 seconds on her 1. Of course, a very spammable ability. And good Morgans are almost always going to hit you with this at max range. It doesn't really feel fun to play against, honestly. But I am glad they're touching the cooldown of it again. I think that is probably the biggest problem with it. I know people talk a lot about the fear. The fear crowd control part of this ability. It's a mini on bats, all that good stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy. I think it's very good. I don't think it's hilariously broken or anything. Especially damage wise, I really don't think it does that much damage. Of course, if she gets it on a hunter or a mage, okay, it's a mage ability. It should be doing a lot of damage. But when I'm playing warriors and stuff like that, it doesn't really feel that crazy high damaging. It doesn't really feel unfair. That's just me. Increase the HP clone. Yeah, they're buffing the clone part of it. People are still just going to use the fear. If you wanted people to use the slow in the clone part of it, you shouldn't have put a fear on the other one. Then the 3, increase the cooldown by 1 second. I don't know if this is going to change too much. I think they just want to see how this goes. See if this helps curb her survivability a little bit more. Like if you're a little too overzealous and you just spam this in every single combo, eventually you're gonna get burned for it. At least you should be. And I guess they're gonna try and see if she gets like if she gets more deaths, uh, by average, right? But this is the big one for me. Boom, decrease the health heal per hit. So as a warrior player, as a jungle player, this was the biggest issue for me. I think if you're a mage or a hunter player, you probably think that the one is Morgan's biggest issue, but to me, it was always this heal. I always felt like I've gotten better at avoiding her too, the knockup on her too. I've learned how to play against that, but to me there was just no counterplay to this. She looks in your direction and just heals. Does usually half to 3/4 of your health with this ability, and heals almost all of your damage back up. Even if you have one form of anti-heal. Of course, if you get up to like 2 forms of anti-heal, yeah, you're probably going to stop her from healing as much. But if you only have like a Brawler's Beat Stick or something, or a Toxic Blade, she's just going to heal through all of it, and it really does not feel good at all. So they're decreasing the heal a little bit. That's nice. And actually, the person who this was really good for, Osiris, of course, breaking down that healing portion of it. He's getting some nerfs, which always sucks. I feel like they should just touch mannequins already. I know there's gonna be some more jungle changes next patch. It's just hilarious how strong Mannequin is at clearing camps and just being able to get any character who has AoE autos ahead. It really feels silly at this point that it's still as strong as it is. Still has physical protections on it for some reason, so the extra sustain, you get extra sustain from there being physical protections. Then the other jungle items are just like, I have a heal, and a little bit of true damage, and that's it. And then just Mannequins just eviscerates every camp on the map. It really feels unfair, and I think that's the biggest issue, along with these sort of hybrid items, these move speed items that are very good on him. Things like Void Shield, right? I think those all culminated into the problem, and then Mannequins is just the cherry on top that always gets you ahead in the jungle, always makes you a threat in the jungle because of the damage. Makes invades really easy too. It sucks because I want it to be the, what's it called? Herald, I guess? That sounds douchey. But, like, the guy who really likes to use mannequins, and then it just blew up and became a ridiculous item. So yeah, 1 second on each of these abilities I think is a fair place to start. Of course, what Osiris is good at is just chasing you down, right? I don't know if this is going to do too much, right? Because he still just runs at you. Still just 1-2, runs at you with the 3 on. When you jump away, he jumps on you. So I don't know. I don't think that helps much. Then a Persephone nerf. Decrease the move speed of the flowers by 10%, pretty significant. And then decrease the flower bite damage just by a little bit. Just by 20 at the end, but keep it the same at the start. Yeah, I think this is definitely the strongest part of her kit at the moment. Of course, her ult is very good, but I think people have sort of learned how to play against it. So I think this harass with these plants was definitely the strongest part, and the most annoying thing about her was this. And I think this is going to be really helpful. I think this is going to help with the frustration factor of playing against her, and it's going to help tone down that poke a little bit, that insane poke that she had. And pretty much free wave clear once she sets up a couple plants. That's gonna help a little bit, I think, and that's good. That's good. I think I think she's actually pretty balanced, for the most part, because I think a lot of people just know how to play against her now. It took a while, took a very long time, but I think people have learned how to play against her. And even though she's still really good, I think this is a very good place to start, getting her to the point of balance. But I think about some of the characters in the game right now. There's no balance, but Emoji sees another nerf. I'm kind of sad about this. Remove the 10% bonus healing buff she can apply from basic attacks. That's just sad. I don't know. I thought that was cool. And then River's Rebuke getting a massive 20-second nerf. That's just going to feel terrible. I don't know. I think you just nerf the ability elsewhere. I don't know what you could do. Maybe make the walls destructible with auto attacks or something. This just feels terrible if you're a Emoji player. I don't think that's really a fair nerf. Deserved. I mean, she deserves a nerf, right? Because she's still a very good guardian. But this just feels like garbage if you're a Emoji player. Another 20 seconds onto your ultimate, that feels like trash, right? I mean, you want to bring a character back into balance, but you don't want to make him feel like trash to play. Where'd my music go, by the way? There we go. Then the final change, Weimer. But yeah, if I had an idea for this, I would tell you. I don't know what else I would nerf on it, really. Maybe the size needs a nerf a little bit. But yeah, again, really hate that cooldown nerf. And then a really simple Ymir nerf. Decrease the damage reduction debuff Ymir applies to enemies from 15 to 10. I don't know if you guys have played against Ymir solo, but it almost made me uninstall the game. It was so unfun to play against. You can't fight this character. I think Kabrakan is still worse, I would say, for the most part. But Kabrakan gets countered a little bit more. Dude, but yeah, like Ymir and Artio right now in the solo lane, like, just don't play that. It's just unplayable. I thought jungle was unfun, going up against Gilgamesh and Erlong every game. Solo got worse. It's so bad. I hate playing that role. Whenever I got autofilled to that role, I'm sorry to say this, guys. I know not everyone agrees with this methodology. I just leave. I leave the lobby. I don't want to play solo. Solo's terrible right now. You really can't play anything fun there. And the only fun things you can play are things like mages, which is kind of fun, but it's also just kind of cheese. Like, you feel like you're winning off cheese because there's not a whole lot that the warrior or guardian can do. And I don't know. I feel like something needs to be done about the sheer unfunnery of solo lane right now. Of course, nerfing characters like R2, characters like Ymir is a good place to start, but it's also like that also hurts their support role, right? And they're so much worse. And well, I don't want to say worse, but it's not like they're amazing. Well, Ymir's a good support, but you know, like Kabrakan and Artio, for instance, in the solo lane are way better than they are in the support role. So it's like you can't really nerf the character and not make their support role just awful. But then it's like, oh well, you just don't play them support then. Well, I want to play a support, whatever. Pretty decent patch overall. I think they touched a lot of good stuff here. I like the nerfs to the bow build. I really hate that build because it really only feels super impactful on a select few characters, and then the other characters just feel like, well, I have to go this build because it's still the best, but I can't abuse it to the same degree that other characters can. So that's why I don't really like that build too much. Soul Gem feels like it could have been a different nerf. Sundering Axe, decent nerf. Fighter's Mask, still going to be really good. Void Shield, decent. Stonecutting, decent, but I think it's still definitely going to be picked up every game. Wingblade, I don't know. I think they could have just changed other stuff about it. Maybe a price increase. Gilgamesh, just remove him. But also, I mean, still good changes. Of course, they're not going to actually remove him, but yeah, it's good changes. Morgan Le Fay nerfs, good nerfs. I do think this could have gone down a little bit more to 0%, but this is okay. Osiris nerfs, I don't feel like that's going to do much, but of course the other nerfs to other things will affect him, so that's probably why they took it a little easy. Persephone, I think this is a good place to start with her. Maybe some cooldown nerfs in the future. Emoji nerf, I feel like this was the wrong direction to go because that feels like trash. And Ymir, I don't feel like this is enough. I hate Ymir. Remove him. Goodbye.